Okay, so this is the PBS-1 suppressor, and it's an original Soviet one. This one is made in 1985, and I recently wrote an article about this suppressor for the Swedish Collectors Association. We have a little membership paper called The Boomerang, and hopefully in the next issue they'll publish this article about this, but I thought I was going to make a video about it as well. So I'm going to read a bit from, translate from my little Swedish article and tell you guys about this. So the reasoning why they started developing this was they need the suppressor for secret squirrel stuff, basically. Recon, operations behind enemy lines, stuff like that. So this was mainly meant for the KGB and for Spetsnaz, which is special forces, if you didn't know that, in the different branches of the Soviet military, and still today in the Russian military. So they changed the tactics for infantry battle in the 1950s after the Second World War, and that's when they recognized the need for this. And they started the development of the suppressor simultaneously with the development for specific ammunition for the suppressor. So this suppressor is meant for subsonic ammunition that doesn't break the sound barrier. Regular ammunition does that. So the specific ammo that was meant to be used with this, the subsonic ammo, is about 1/3 of the speed of regular ammunition. About that anyway. The 7.62x39 ammo the AKM uses isn't really that fast to begin with, but yeah. So the sound barrier is about 340 meters per second, or about 1,000 something feet per second. So who did this? So the suppressor the development of that started at the Central Scientific Research Institute of Precision Engineering, and the designer was someone called M.A. Kuzmina, and I butchered that name. And the guys who made ammunition was the same people who developed the M43 ammunition, and that is the standard for 7.62x39 still today. So the same people who developed the original 7.62x39 made the subsonic version of it as well. And those were N.M. Elisarov and B.V. Syomin. Russian people, I'm sorry for butchering your names. And in December 1954, they ended the work with the drawings for the ammunition and the drawings for this suppressor. It was meant to be used with the SKS, the AK, and the RPD. The SKS is like a longer rifle, semi-auto rifle with an internal magazine. The AK, most people know, I hope, and the RPD was a belt-fed machine gun in 7.62x39 that is no longer in use. So they made a batch of the subsonic ammunition and started trials. They made 6 pieces each for trials, 6 for the SKS, 6 for the AK, and 6 for the RPD. And in 54 to 55 they did the testing, and the results was back to the drawing board, basically. It wasn't really that, it didn't work that well, the first versions of it. And they had to do more testing in 1955 and in 1956. And they kept adding to this until 58 actually. And then they finalized the PBS and called it the PBS-1, and the ammunition as well. And in 1962 it was officially called the PBS-1. And the subsonic cartridges started being made in factory 711, which is Klimovsk, something in Klimovsk, I don't remember. Every factory in the Soviet Union had a number. And if you look at the head stamp of a cartridge that's subsonic, it will say 711, and then on the other side it will say the year of manufacture. So that's how you can tell which factory made your ammunition. If you shoot the surplus 7.62x39, the factory number will be stamped on the head of the case. Anyway, it still was still had some issues. A lot of backblast with gas shooting in the face of the shooter. Couldn't really cycle the bolt, which is a problem because the AKM or all rifles are made for a certain gas pressure, and when you have subsonic ammunition, gas pressure lowers, and then it won't cycle the action in a automatic rifle. That's the issue. And they dropped it for the difference of these suppressors between the different firearms was how it mounted to the firearm. Otherwise it was the same. But they dropped it for the RPD because a belt-fed machine gun that can't cycle properly is worthless. And also the SKS was dropped altogether. So they were left with the AKM version, which is this one. Right. So let's have a look at this one and how it actually works. So when you disassemble it, it has this spring metal thing here that goes into teeth here. So you push it down and then you unscrew it. And this part, this cylinder is what goes into the firearm, and this is the threading of that. It has an expansion chamber that's threaded on as well. And I'm not sure if it's visible, but it has holes here that vents gas into this chamber here. So this is, you can disassemble it for cleaning. And now comes the fun part. This is what makes it work. First of all, this is a rubber wipe. And you can see the manufacture date here. And this is good for, it has a metal ring around it. And this is good for about 15 to 30 shots. Then this is thrown out and replaced with a new one. I only have the one, so I'm not going to use this. I'm going to manufacture my own wipes. And it has what the Americans call a baffle stack, and this is super primitive. Usually what these does is they're angled to make the gases a bit more turbulent to lose their energy and cool down inside here. This is just bricks, one after the other. And notice that the hole is very oversized for a 7.62. That is because the bore of the rifle and the threading on the end of the muzzle doesn't really line up. They're not parallel, so the bullet can fly a bit sideways inside of this. So all Russian suppressors for AKs have really large holes in them. Not good for suppressing. This just goes in here like this, and this has a little tab that goes over the edge. So you hold it down with your finger, and this is interrupted threading. It has a little interrupt here. So notice which of the cogs here it goes against, and just put it like that. And now it catches on this piece of spring metal. And now you're done. It's assembled. One quirk with this is that the metal ring around the wipe will expand when you shoot it. So it's very hard to get it out of here if you shoot it with the metal ring. So I'm going to make something without the metal ring. But you have to have the same thickness because the wipe is what holds down the baffle stack in this cylinder as well. So we'll see. I'm going to make some videos in the future where I make my own subsonic ammunition for this and make some kind of modern day wipe and shoot it through this and compare it to a modern suppressor. I have a modern suppressor on my AK right now and see what sounds the best. The wipe actually is good. There's actually new suppressors that comes with wipes, but due to silly laws in the United States, the wipes are counted as a part of the suppressor and can't be changed by the user. So it's not much development with wipes. It's only for very like military purposes and stuff usually. So we'll see. It's going to be exciting to try this out. Thank you for watching.